Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I think it is October 25, 2023. I don't know. I haven't looked yet this morning. But this is partially an evidentiary video and partially an informational video, like an educational video about how AI has your number. They know everything that you're talking about. And to discuss the local voting ballot here in Kentucky. Bizarre. But anyway, please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. Oh, that's the Christian Appalachian Project as soon as I walk out. How funny. What a coincidence. So now, I've lived here 5.5 years, and I've put in these beds the first year. And they've been filled to the top. And these criminals keep stealing my soil. So let me just show you where the soil line is now. Okay? So all of my soil has been stolen from my garden beds. You can see here. Imagine, when I'm asleep, somebody's out here with a bucket and a shovel. It's the local Freemasons. And that guy Eddie Marks, he's one of them because he does the hand signals. He rubs his chin when he drives by. He gives me the Sherlock. That's what I call it, the Sherlock Holmes. Like, what was it Sherlock would say? It's evidentiary, my dear Watson, or something like that. So this is an evidentiary video of how, after 5.5 years, my beds that I fill with soil every year. Every year I buy new soil and mulch and leaves and stuff, and I know that some of it kind of disappears a little bit, but that's usually out in the open here, but not a garden bed. There's nowhere for it to go. And here you go. You can see there's no soil in here. It was stolen. It's all stolen. Same there. And this is my fig tree. They stole all the buds off of my fig tree this year. I should have had figs coming out of my ears, but they were stolen. So this morning I retrieved my mail. And you know how AI eavesdrops on everything that you do? And you know how my neighbor Scarlett Marks parked on the county road there, drove back and forth 4 times and screamed out her window that I was a heifer? Well, look at my mail this morning. Heifer International. Your gift today will go twice as far to fight hunger. Free goat tote offering clothes, okay? So that's how AI listens to you. And also, I heard from Rob Braxman. He's a YouTuber here that talks about technology. It was quite alarming. I listened to it this morning. Very little time consuming, about 40 minutes long. I highly recommend you listening to his last video about the new iPhone 16 and how all of your information, it records everything that you do, even when you're not recording, even when you're asleep. It's always listening. It's always photographing. And it takes up a section of your phone for data. So it's stealing your storage. So I just want to give you heads up there. I have an old phone. I've got 2 old phones. I don't know. I'm like that. If it's not broken, why buy a new one? I had my microwave oven in New Jersey for, I think, if I remember correctly, 16 or 18 years before I finally replaced it. And I think the only reason I replaced it was I wanted something a little bit bigger, and I had purchased it during my marriage, and I said, you know what, I just want to get rid of it. And I got another one that went above the stove. I think it went above the stove. So, okay, so there, Heifer International AI is watching my videos. So now I've got the sample ballot. I'm so glad because I wanted to know if I could vote early here and what the issues were here in Kentucky. Well, of course, we've got the Republican, Democratic, Kentucky. What the hell is the Kentucky Party? The Libertarian Party. And these are the people that we can vote for here. And then we've got the United States Representative of Congress, Hal Rogers. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look him up. I'm not going to vote for anybody just because it's the only candidate on the ballot. It's usually, you know, come on, that's usually a paid person. Like this Robert Stivers, who's, where is he? State Senator, Republican Party, Robert Stivers. It turns out that he just like donated millions of dollars for the stupid project that we have going on here. Instead of rebuilding the culverts and the county roads and making it a safe place to drive, no, we've got to have a recreational facility built right next to the Three Mason Lodge. Yeah. So anyway, but this one is really interesting. A Constitutional Amendment 1. And listen up, folks. Listen to this constitution. And I'm not negating it, but wait till you read how the terminology reads. So, constitutional, I'm going to show you here. Okay, so constitutional amendment, as you are in favor of amending sections 145 and 155 of the Constitution of Kentucky to prohibit persons who are not citizens of the United States from being allowed to vote in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Stop that. As stated below, okay? So I'm not negating this. I think that everybody should be a citizen of the United States in order to vote. I don't care what the camel toe says or the bye-bye Biden says. If you're not a citizen, you should not be eligible to vote. They're not even allowing prisoners to vote here. And some of these people that are imprisoned are falsely accused, but they're not allowed to vote. I think that's horrible. But anyway, I disagree with that. So it's proposed that Section 145 of the Constitution of Kentucky be amended to read as follows: that every citizen of the United States at the age of 18 years who has resided in the state 1 year, so you have to be here a year, and are in the country 6 months, so that's 2 sets of criteria, to vote 60 days. Wait. And the precinct in which he or she offers to vote 60 days next preceding the election shall be a voter in said precinct and not elsewhere. Okay, so first, you have to be a citizen of the United States. Okay? You have to be 18 years old. You have to be in this county for 6 months. And the precinct, you know, where, like the location, you have to be here 60 days. Okay? So there are different sets of criteria. But the following persons also will not have the right to vote. Okay? Persons convicted in any court of a competent jurisdiction of treason, felony, bribery in an election, or said such misdemeanor as the General Assembly may declare, shall operate in an exclusion. Stop! An exclusion. I'm being picked up by the guineas. They're not happy with the election here. As such high misdemeanor as the General Assembly may declare shall operate in an exclusion from right of suffrage, but persons hereby excluded may be restricted. Stop it! May be restricted to the rights by executive pardon. Number 2, persons who, at the time of the election, are in confinement under the judgment of a court of some penal offense. I think that's wrong. I disagree with that. And number 3, now please listen to this carefully. Number 3, if you're an idiot and an insane person, you are prohibited from voting. You cannot vote. Now, what is the definition of idiot or an insane person? Okay? I'm going to tell you that I've got some people that live locally that are definitely idiots, and they're absolutely insane. Absolutely, I've caught them on video. The insanity is off the charts. they should be excluded from voting. Do we want their votes to count in the upcoming election? No. So it's proposed that Section 155 of the Constitution of Kentucky be amended to read as follows. The provisions of Section 145 and 154, inclusive, shall not apply to the election of school trustees and other common school district elections. Said elections shall be regulated by the General Assembly except as otherwise provided in this Constitution. No person who is not a citizen of the United States shall be allowed to vote in said elections. Okay, so I agree with that. If you're not a citizen of the U.S., you should not vote in the U.S. Right? And if you want to vote in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, you have to be 18 years of age. You have to be in this county for 6 months. And then if you're going to be in this town, let's say, you've got to be here for 60 days where you're going to be voting. But I disagree that persons at the time of election who are in confinement under a judgment, because we all know how corrupt it is and how they incarcerate innocent people for profit, that they should not be allowed to vote. I disagree. And I would like it defined. What is an idiot? And who are insane persons? Inquiring minds like to know. And with a background in psychology, undergraduate, in abnormal, deviant, and violent psychology with a concentration in addiction, and my master's degree in psychology, having studied ADHD and the negative side effects of medicated children diagnosed falsely with ADHD, the negative effects of methylphenidate, Ritalin, Concerta, Adderall, I would like to know the definition of an idiot and an insane person. I think it's wrong. I think the wording should be removed from this ballot. And while I will likely vote for this amendment, because I don't think that I agree, if you're not a U.S. citizen, if you haven't been in Kentucky, you should not be voting. But I absolutely disagree that if you're incarcerated, you shouldn't have a vote. And I absolutely disagree about this wording for idiot and insane persons. Insanity is, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, that would include all of my neighbors, because they have been doing the same thing over and over again for 5.5 years. They're expecting a different result. The result is going to be the same. I will record you, report you. And if the local criminals, the idiots and insane persons who are controlling this county, choose to not incarcerate your asses, where there's a will, there's a way, we're going to publicly shame you. The way you defame me, I'm going to just report on the truth. So anyway, this is the sample ballot for the state of Kentucky, the Constitutional Amendment number 1. If you're not a citizen of the U.S. for a year, if you're not in the state of Kentucky for 6 months, if you're not in the county, if you're not 18 years of age, and you haven't been in this jurisdiction for 60 days, you can't vote. If you're in jail, if you've been in prison for some reason, they're not going to allow you to vote. Wrong. It's your constitutional right to vote. I disagree. And as far as number 3, idiots and insane persons, that should be stricken. And some constitutional lawyer out there, maybe I'll tag you. This whole amendment here, that wording should be stricken. Absolutely. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, exposing one idiot and insane constitutional amendment at a time here in rural Kentucky. So I'm going to sign off for now. I've got a low battery light, and yes, in the mail, I received something from the Heifer International, which is actually a good organization. They want you to donate a goat to you know, very poor communities in other countries. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. Please leave your questions and comments down below. Do you think that wording should be stricken from the ballot? Idiots and insane persons. You're kidding me, right?